Hello, my name is Rafael Solorzano, and I'm here to represent Sacred. I'm also a longtime resident here of Santa Ana. And what really brings me here today is actually some data that was revealed actually in October 2013 around the incarceration of young men and young women in Santa Ana. And the numbers are actually very shocking, right? When we look at who's incarcerated in the juvenile detention centers in Orange County, we see that 74% of those are Latino men, right? Also from that number, we see that the two cities that make up those who are incarcerated, let's say 300 a day, are from Santa Ana and Anaheim. So what is this an indicator? This is really an indicator of what we're doing with our youth, how we are dealing with issues in our community around safety, violence, and conflict, right? So I'm here to really talk about thinking about restorative justice. And I think a lot of people have come up here today addressing the goal of community safety, objective number 1, but I want to talk about strategy number F, right? Strategy number F really talks about trying to create a balanced approach around community safety that really has traditional policing and also problem-solving strategies. So when we're thinking about those problem-solving strategies, let's think about restorative justice. Let's think about the cities who have already implemented this type of strategy within their community safety plans, such as cities as Baltimore, cities as Oakland, cities in Chicago. The partnership that Oakland has is one that's very interesting. They have restorative justice programs that are in all of their schools that is funded by the city, right? Because the city has seen the benefit of teaching young men and young women how to resolve conflict. There's also a young man earlier who had mentioned let's have community centers, right? Let's put community centers in our communities. That could be seen as a restorative justice approach because the alternative is instead of dealing with crimes, right? We're actually implementing preventative measures, right, within our communities that build community and also build an environment and trust. And I think that's very key when we start thinking about problem strategies, right? Let's think about moving away, still keeping traditional policing, but let's implement a new strategy, one that is inclusive, one that brings respect to the community and builds trust. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's great to see this process moving forward and the great community input that there's been. And thank you, Mr. Cavazos and the staff for being part of this process, being part of this journey, and putting together a document that really reflects, I think, some of the views of the community that we've seen throughout the different forums, and to listen to what the community is saying. I'm Victor Payan, work with the United Artists of Santa Ana, with the OC Film Fiesta, with Sacred, and am a member of the Latino Health Access Wellness Corridor Steering Committee. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about what some people were saying also about arts and culture. During the process, I saw that arts was consistently ranked as a top priority as a separate goal, and I saw that it's kind of been worked into the other goals. And in the creation of the Arts Master Plan, I wanted to advocate that that all 7 goals be part of the Arts Master Plan because it is so intrinsic to, I think, the health and well-being of the city and the community. I think that within the arts and culture, some things that I've seen that were mentioned that might not be addressed directly, but worth re-mentioning now as the city moves forward with the strategic plan and the 20-year general plan, is that the arts can contribute to a wider variety of options in the downtown at night, such as galleries, exhibitions, spaces for open mics, performance venues, more family restaurants, where there are local musicians playing, acoustic musicians, events for community groups in the public plazas, in the Plaza Santa Ana, in the Artist Village Promenade, but also, as people were saying, not just in the downtown, throughout the city, to really create vibrancy and identity for communities. That there be more affordable residences downtown and in the rest of the city for artists in the creative class where they can work. Digital designers, people with computers can create an industry. We are just looking at numbers. The city offers a $55 business license that is good for up to $1,200 in revenue. If 500 people got this license and each contributed $1,200 to the economy, that's $600,000 to the local economy. Not just from traditional sources, but people who have skills, people who make textiles, who make mole, who make arts and crafts, sculptures, pottery, whatever, to really energize them as an engine to create revenue for the city. We also talked about arts enterprise zones as overlays in different parts of the city to create incentives for promoting and protecting arts-related businesses so they don't get displaced once the economic engine kicks in. And again, when we're talking about arts-related businesses, we're talking printers, we're talking graphic designers, we're talking videographers, people who also hire locally and can serve as important mentorship opportunities for local youth. I know a lot of modern printers and silk screeners and muralists have gotten jobs starting in print shops or at Kinko's where they have access to technology and access to equipment and ideas where they can then go on their own. And I think that Santa Ana has a lot of young talent, as we've seen tonight. As a writer myself, I'm very inspired by the number of writers that we have contributing to this process. And not to forget that writers are also part of the creative class here. We spoke to Ruby Lerner, the head of Creative Capital in New York, who has a program for teaching artists entrepreneurial skills and business skills and how to interface with the greater art world. And what she told us was that she was in Los Angeles for a workshop, and we said, well, consider Santa Ana for a workshop. And what she told us was that they now offer their artist workshops in Spanish. And I think that's something that the community should consider is inviting them out here, working with the artist community to bring them out here to teach the Spanish language population how to interface with the art world and with our arts businesses. To really look at artists as not just painters, but also as the people who make up the creative class are youth, seniors, veterans, immigrants, business people, single mothers, students, taxpayers, and social service providers that can really be partners in the transformation of this city, partners in the prosperity of this city and innovation. And we, through our youth programs, have seen how the arts can change lives and take people who are on the margin and bring them into the mainstream, and that through working together and having a real plan that integrates the arts centrally to the whole city, we can plant the seeds now that can create the bounty that will provide nourishment for us as a city and inspiration for the next 20 years. Thank you.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Gracias por estar aquí a todos ustedes, primero que todo, y también muchas gracias por el esfuerzo que la ciudad ha hecho para realizar este evento, lo cual es muy importante para nuestra comunidad, para poder incluir nuestras ideas y nuestras observaciones en este plan que ustedes están por desarrollar. Gracias.
Thanks, Adriana. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to thank the city staff, city personnel for their work in putting this event on and for taking the opportunity to listen to all of us and our comments today. It's really important to all of us to have this opportunity.
Ok, uno de los puntos, bueno, de todo lo que he escuchado acá esta mañana, para mí todo, para nosotros todo es muy importante, cada uno de los temas y puntos que aquí se han observado, que se han escuchado. Pero uno de los puntos que a mí me interesa también de sobremanera es crecimiento equitativo. Por ejemplo, yo quiero decir que una ciudad segura y saludable necesita una economía fuerte. Una economía fuerte le da a los residentes una oportunidad de mantener a sus familias y seguir sus metas, igual como crear una base fuerte de impuestos para que la ciudad pueda proveer servicios.
I think we've heard a lot of really interesting and important points today, and I was happy to hear them. I want to focus in on one point that's particularly important to me, and that is the idea of equitable growth. A city that's safe and healthy needs a strong economy, and a strong economy gives its residents the opportunity to have and maintain strong families and to achieve their goals, and as well as at the same time creating a strong base of taxes so that the city can provide services.
También quiero decir de que cuando una ciudad promueve el crecimiento de negocio por medio de darle incentivos a los negocios como un descuento de impuestos, la ciudad debe de mantener estándares para asegurarse de que estos negocios van a crear buenos trabajos de calidad para los residentes locales.
And when the city promotes job growth and business growth through giving incentives to businesses such as tax breaks, the city should maintain a set of standards or norms that assure that these businesses are actually creating good, high-quality jobs for local residents.
También la pobreza y el desempleo contribuye a un ambiente inseguro. Dentro del plan estratégico queremos ver pólizas que hablan de mejorar oportunidades de empleo y reducir la pobreza dentro de la comunidad.
It's also important that this plan, we know that poverty and unemployment contribute to an unsafe environment in our city. And inside the strategic plan, we want to see policies that speak about improving opportunities of employment and reducing poverty in our city.
Última cosa es que el plan estratégico se debe de enfocar en crear buenos trabajos para los residentes de Santa Ana, para que los jóvenes tengan oportunidades de empleo que les den una oportunidad de mantenerse a ellos y a sus familias y poder contribuir de esta manera a la comunidad. El plan estratégico debe de incluir estrategias que construyan una economía que proporciona una oportunidad u oportunidades buenas para los residentes, negocios pequeños, jóvenes y la comunidad en general. Gracias por incluir esto en sus apuntes.
Gracias.
The strategic plan should also focus on the creation of good jobs for residents of Santa Ana, but also for young people so that they have employment opportunities that will give them an opportunity to not only provide for themselves, but also for their families, and through this contribute to the community at large. The strategic plan should include strategies that build an economy that provides these opportunities to residents, to small businesses, to young people in the community. I want to thank you all for including these thoughts and comments in your notes.
Un segundo, olvidé algo muy importante que es un puntito aparte. Por favor, incluyan esta información para el correo antiguo, o sea, para las personas que no tienen computadoras en su casa, como por ejemplo las tarjetitas que nos dieron hoy aquí para que nosotros tengamos nuestra opinión y las dejemos aquí. También es importante que la gente que en casa no tiene computadoras les hagan llegar por correo este tipo de mensaje para que también ellos puedan expresar su opinión. Muchas gracias.
I'm sorry, there's just one important thing I wanted to include, and that's that we need to make sure that we're including older folks or people that don't have access to computers in this process. And I would ask you to make the extra effort or the special effort to use things like the yellow comment cards you have today to get them to people that don't have computers in their home so that they have the ability to participate in this process. Thank you all so much.
Good morning or good afternoon at this point. Thank you. My name is Laura Cantor. I'm the Director of Youth Services at the Gay and Lesbian Community Services Center of Orange County here in Santa Ana. Welcome to Santa Ana, the city that for the last 4 years has officially recognized Harvey Milk Day and that has hosted OC Pride. I will leave you with one of our rainbow bracelets before I go. I'm also a partner with Santa Ana Building Healthy Communities Initiative, working with youth groups. And I'm going to go quickly. So mostly what I want to say is that throughout the plan, I can see numerous places where you can infuse this plan with language in all of the city policies that is inclusive and welcoming for the LGBT community. By creating easily visible and accessible resources for LGBT people. The city needs to work with all of its departments in the schools to support safety, reduce bullying and discrimination, and to implement transformative discipline practices in schools, including restorative justice. LGBT youth are overrepresented, highly overrepresented in youth who are suspended, expelled, who drop out of school. They're overrepresented in foster care system, juvenile justice, and among the homeless. We have to stop using punitive school discipline and criminalizing our youth. We have to work to keep our youth in school. The Center Orange County, I feel, I will look forward to working together with you, that this isn't the only time we'll get to talk, that we should be included in the development of all of the strategies. The city should work with Santa Ana Building Healthy Communities, the schools, and community organizations like the center to support safe and welcoming schools, transformative healing, learning through restorative justice, and facilitating intersectional organizing so that all of our communities can work together. These efforts should include also cultural sensitivity training for city workers and specific outreach to the LGBT community. So I do hope that you will work with us to ensure that Team Santa Ana includes Santa Ana's most vulnerable youth and families and is LGBT welcoming. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dave Hohen, 30-year resident of Santa Ana, and I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of people that have lived a lot longer than I have in that neighborhood, and yet they haven't shopped in Santa Ana in decades. And so I'm very encouraged that within this plan, you talk about using technology. I hope you do use technology to make sure that we market Santa Ana. I don't know if you're aware, but the best place to find out what's happening in Santa Ana is at a blog site that I don't think you guys really want us to go visit. So it would be a really good idea to use technology to make sure we know where we can get services, where we can eat, lists of restaurants, businesses, all sorts of things like that. Also, as Laura mentioned, in line with what she said, and as you know, in a recent HRC survey, Santa Ana came out at the bottom in California. I think it'd be wise to use their list of criteria, because that list of criteria will apply across all demographics within Santa Ana. And if we were to use that list of criteria and have a goal to raise up to the 100%, we will lift all ships in Santa Ana. Also, we've talked about this being a 5-year strategic plan. I hope it's much longer than that too, but in 5 years from now, it will be 2019, the 150th anniversary of Santa Ana. I hope we're all celebrating a great 150th celebration that year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Cemental. I'm a resident of Santa Ana. I'm representing OCO. We're associated with Sacred, and I'm also representing my family's business, Julio's Auto Service on Fifth Street and Baker. First of all, thank you for finally drafting a strategic plan for Santa Ana. Many of these objectives will make Santa Ana a better place to reside in and will allow the cultural aspect of the city to flourish. However, I believe Objective 4 could be improved in its drafting. We at OCO believe that the city's contract with Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, that allows ICE to use the city jail is contradictory to Santa Ana's values and should be stopped as soon as possible. Santa Ana is a community of immigrants, and we believe that allowing the jail to be used by ICE is morally wrong and fosters an environment of distrust in the city. You guys could improve Objective 4 by adding a Strategy B to read something along the likes of Strategy B. As a city that values many of the contributions of the immigrant community, we will terminate the contract with ICE, allowing and governing its use of the city jail as soon as is economically feasible. So removing ICE from our city jail, it's important to me because I don't like my tax contributions to continue to build the distrust between my immigrant people and the city. Many of the clients of my family's business are immigrants, and I feel I represent them when I say remove ICE from our city jail. Thanks.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Carlos Meléndez, soy miembro de la comunidad de Santa Ana por más de 18 años y también soy miembro de Sacred. En realidad no sé cuál es la política que usaron para el orden de los participantes, pero yo llegué aquí a las 8 de la mañana y fue uno de los que entregó primero su tarjeta. Entonces,
Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Carlos Melendez. I've been living here in the city of Santa Ana for 18 years, and I'm also a member of Sacred. I just wanted to say that I was here since 8 in the morning, one of the first people to arrive, and one of the first to turn in my card, so I'm not sure what happened with that.
escogí hablar del término de vivienda de bajo costo porque este problema me ha tocado directamente a mí. Cuando terminaron de construir el proyecto de la compañía Triada, que es en la Santa Ana Boulevard y la estación, se abrió el periodo de aplicaciones. Yo apliqué y mi aplicación fue rechazada porque mis ingresos son extremadamente bajos. En realidad yo no sé cuál es el criterio que usan o cuál es el mínimo de ingreso que debe tener la persona que aplica, pero en mi caso personal fui rechazado y no admitieron ningún tipo de apelación. Entonces, el problema es que, como yo, hay muchísima gente en esta ciudad. Hay mucha gente que tiene bajos ingresos. La mayoría de personas que vivimos aquí en Santa Ana somos de bajos ingresos.
I am here to speak about the issue of low-income housing. In particular, I wanted to raise up the example of my experience applying at the Triada apartments that are on Santa Ana Boulevard. I applied to get housing at the Triada apartments, and I was unfortunately rejected. And I was rejected because my income is extremely low, and I didn't qualify to meet the income standards. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure what these standards are, but I know that there is a lot of people in Santa Ana that are in a similar situation to me with very low income, and I was frustrated when I found there was no way to appeal this decision.
Muchas personas como yo estamos casi en el umbral de la indigencia, o sea que casi estamos a punto de formar parte de los homeless y no queremos ser una estadística más. Queremos ayudar a que la ciudad no llegue a ese número de homeless y que se haga algún tipo de política en la cual las personas que tenemos muy bajos recursos podamos también acceder a una vivienda digna.
I am also, I would say that I'm, like many people in the city, on the verge of being homeless with the ability to pay my rent. And I think that there's a lot of people in this city that don't want to become part of this statistic of homelessness. And I think we need to look at policies that will help to direct and create housing opportunities for people of very low income.
Por esa razón, estamos pidiendo de que en el plan estratégico se incorpore una parte donde debe haber una vivienda de bajo costo, que tenga oportunidades para todos y que nos proporcione la oportunidad de vivir en un lugar digno. Nosotros estamos pidiendo, en mi caso personal, en el plan estratégico de la ciudad, en la meta, voy a ser bien específico, en la meta salud comunitaria, habitabilidad, en el objetivo número 3, estamos proponiendo que se incorporen, después de la letra D, la letra E, que diga incluir las metas del elemento de vivienda en el plan estratégico. En la letra F estamos proponiendo que se haga una ley o una forma de que las personas que tienen problemas en sus casas o habitaciones, como plagas, problemas desperfectos, puedan depositar la renta en una cuenta que la ciudad maneje y cuando el propietario haga las reparaciones necesarias, le sea pagada la renta que la va a tener en ese momento la ciudad. También estamos pidiendo que se incorpore de alguna forma en el plan de que mientras el dueño no haga las reparaciones en un tiempo prudente, pueda buscar con ese dinero otro lugar para donde irse.
So I just wanted to suggest, I'm going to be very specific about the recommendations I would want to see changed here. And the first is, making sure that there are issues about it. We direct housing opportunities so that everyone has an opportunity to live in dignified housing. And when we go to the goal of community well-being for strategy number 3, after the point where it says D, for point E, I would want something included that says to include and follow through with the housing element plans here in the strategic plan as well. I would also add a point F that would look at the funding what is known as a rent trust account program, which would allow residents that live with issues of infestations or other problems in their housing to pay rent to a city-based fund rather than to the owner of the apartment complex. In this way, they could use that money potentially, or this money could be used in the future to help them find additional housing opportunities if the issue is not fixed by the landlord. And it would also put pressure on the landlord to fix this problem.
Thank you.
Y para terminar, para terminar, el último que es muy importante, identificar recursos adicionales para apoyar el desarrollo de vivienda de bajo costo, incluyendo a los fondos Boomerang, el CDBG, fondos para casa y alguna otra fuente de recursos que sea importante que la ciudad capte para poder atacar el problema. Gracias.
Thank you.
So the last thing I would want to say is I want to identify the city to identify additional resources to support the development of low-income housing, including what is known as boomerang funds, the CDBG home funds, or other grants and potential resources to develop housing in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for seeing me.
Thank you.
My name is Christine Villegas, and I am with LISC, the Local Initiative Support Corporation. We are a national, I'm also a former city staff and a longtime advocate here in the city. So I'm excited to be here. This is one of the greatest parts of Santa Ana, in my opinion, the inclusivity. LISC is a national community development financial institution. We have 32 offices throughout the country, headquartered in New York City, with local offices in San Francisco, San Diego, Houston, Chicago, Detroit, and Cincinnati. We are one of the country's largest CDFIs with direct allocations from HUD for Section 4 capacity building grants. In the city of Los Angeles right now, we're working with the city in partnership, 15 different neighborhoods to fund things like affordable housing, charter schools, public health clinics, small business loans, and doing a lot of work around transit-oriented development, affordable housing preservation, and preservation of commercial corridors. We would love to, once you're done with this process, partner with the city to see how LISC can support a lot of the great nonprofits here in the city with capacity building grants. We funded recently the El Sol Charter School, the construction loan for that, and look forward to a longer partnership with El Sol and other nonprofits here in the city. But we really like to take the initiative, or let the city take the initiative to tell us what its priorities are, and we look forward to being a support here. Just want to also mention that sort of our specialty is both capacity building grants from HUD Section 4. We also have about an $80 million allocation of new market tax credits for things like commercial facilities. We are funding a gay and lesbian public health center in Long Beach. We do a lot of arts funding as well, in our Cincinnati office. So look forward to working with you, and just thank you for hearing me out, but excited for your process.
Thank you for your patience and waiting. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miriam Lopez, and I'm part of the Youth Empowerment Network here at KRX, and today I'm representing Sacred Santa Ana BHC. We believe that the strategic plan should have a city internship program with business and nonprofits. That will provide youth with the opportunities to have real work experience. As a youth, I believe that we should be able to experience different working fields and career paths. This will allow youth to decide what major to select in college. Having an internship will also allow us to develop our skills and to work with the city, work in the city we live in. Thank you very much.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Mercedes Mardones, soy residente de Santana y soy voluntaria de Latino Health Access. Pues estoy aquí para pedir que si en el plan estratégico pueden incluir programas de prevención y más oportunidades de empleo para nuestros jóvenes. Justamente ahora yo vivo en la zona 5, justamente ahora están peleando unas pandillas. Constantemente ha habido balaceras en horarios donde la última fue cuando los niños iban saliendo de la escuela y se me hace muy preocupante. Mi hija fue testigo de una de ellas y ya tenemos miedo de salir. Entonces, pues se me hace muy importante que se incluya esto y pues que estamos aquí, varias madres de la comunidad podemos ayudar y participar en programas de prevención y pues nos ponemos a sus órdenes. Gracias.
Hi, my name is Mercedes. I'm a resident of Santana, and I'm also a volunteer at Latino Health Access. And I'm here today to ask that prevention programs be included in the strategic plan, as well as opportunities for youth. I live in Zone 5 in Santa Ana, and there have been constant shootings recently. And the latest one happened during school hours when kids were in school. My daughter was a witness of this, and we are very scared. We're very scared to go outside, and so we think that it is really important to include this in the strategic plan and to have more prevention programs for youth. And we as moms we're here today can be a part of helping out. So we're here to work with you and collaborate with you in making that happen.
Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you, city manager, elected officials, city staff, residents, organization, everybody here for contributing to this betterment of our city. My name is Maggie Moreno. I'm here representing the Coalition of Orange County Community Health Centers. I am a resident of Santa Ana, and I am here to talk about health and health access points in our community. We know that we are in a very historic time in healthcare right now. The last major event that happened was in 1965 when Medicare came into play. So right now, we are looking at ways that Santa Ana can contribute to this strong effort to get our residents into health plans. So we are requesting that the city supports and help us create access points here in Santa Ana to direct our residents into enrollment into Cover California. We also want to recognize that Orange County, especially here in Santa Ana, created by some great individuals, probably here in this room, Covered OC. It's a collaboration of about 70 organizations that are working very hard to get people enrolled into Cover California. So if you help us get these access points to direct people to these organizations who will get people enrolled into these health plans, it will also allow the residents to get a hold of the resources that are out there to create a well-being in a holistic way for the entire family. And also, we want to make sure that we don't forget our undocumented population. The Orange County Community Health Centers is a consortium of 26 clinics that provide health services to low-income individuals as well as undocumented. So we must not forget our undocumented population. So we need to be very, very visible to the community. And I also noticed that in Objective 6 in the health plan here, it talks about projects and programs. I understand that you support the programs that are already here, but you need to also look at the goals that we want to get to help increase health access. You have here that we have recreation zones, bikes, health, and wellness, but if people aren't healthy, how are we going to get them to go out there? So we want you to focus on prevention of health, increasing the health access points. Thank you.
Thank you. And I especially want to thank you for your patience and for being the last speaker and everybody that came. This concludes our event. It was overwhelming success. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.